Hey everyone, how's it going today? Today's video, we're going to take a look at what if Darth Revan trained Luke after Return of the Jedi. Right off the bat, I think this could be an interesting one. I often see people covering what would happen if Revan trained Anakin, and they usually result in Anakin becoming a more balanced Jedi, utilizing the dark and the light. But Luke is very different from his father, so I thought the idea of Revan training him could be interesting. This is also a fan fiction that you guys wanted to see in a poll I did a few weeks ago, so let me know what you thought in the comments. This is going to be a part 1 of 2 or 3. So let me know in the comments section how you would like me to finish this story. But with that, let's jump into part 1 of what if Darth Revan trained Luke. After the defeat of the Emperor and Darth Vader at the Battle of Endor, Luke Skywalker returned to Leia, Han, and the rest of the rebels a hero. Anakin Skywalker had been redeemed while fulfilling the prophecy of the Chosen One. Though he died on the Death Star, Luke was determined that his legacy live on through a new Jedi Order. As he looked toward his own future, Luke began to feel the weight of rebuilding the Jedi Order. Yoda and Obi-Wan had trained him well, but there was so much he did not know. He wondered how could he rebuild the great Jedi Order with such limited knowledge. As he meditated, he began to have strange dreams. In these dreams, a hooded figure appeared to him, offering guidance and training in the ways of the Force. Luke was skeptical of these visions, but as they continued to haunt him, he began to suspect that they might be real and that there might be a powerful Jedi Master out there who could continue his training. And so he set out to find the source of these dreams and the mysterious figure who had been appearing to him. His journey led him to the outer rim of the galaxy, where he discovered a great green cloud that appeared to be made up of energy spikes and gases. R2 frantically beeped to let Luke know that their navicomputer was acting up. Listening to the Force, Luke flew further into this nebula. Guiding his X-Wing, Luke began to feel the presence of a great power. To Luke's surprise, a space station came into his view. This station was nothing like the Death Star. It was made with ancient technology and much smaller, but Luke was nonetheless amazed that such an ancient-looking space station could survive in this tumultuous environment. Against his better judgment and R2's protests, Luke landed his X-Wing in the exposed hangar. The station appeared completely empty. In fact, Luke felt as if he had stepped into a time capsule. This station had perfectly preserved evidence of a war between factions that Luke did not know. As Luke explored the halls of the station, he came to a large chamber that emitted a bright purple glow. In the middle of the chamber appeared to be a man suspended in the energy that seemed to be emitting the purple glow. Luke could feel the power of the Force flowing through this man, and he was alive. He had been trapped in this stasis for a long time. Compelled by compassion, Luke searched for a way to release this man from his endless captivity. Fumbling through the ancient controls, Luke eventually cut the power to the energy prison. The man fell to the ground. After a few moments, Luke watched as this man slowly stood up and faced him.
"You have freed me,"
he said. Luke hesitated before asking the question he would later wish he had known the answer to before setting the man free. "Who are you?"
"I am Revan."
The name meant nothing to Luke, as he had not received a complete education on the history of the Jedi and the Sith. Yoda and Ben had only told him about the Jedi Order during the final days of the Republic. Despite the name meaning nothing, Luke could feel that the Force was strong with Revan. Revan told Luke that he had been watching him through the Force and had been impressed by his potential as a Jedi. He offered to train Luke in the ways of the Force, promising to help him unlock his full potential and achieve true mastery of the Force, the mastery that Luke needed in order to rebuild the Jedi Order. Luke was tempted by Revan's offer. Something seemed off about this mysterious Jedi. Perhaps this was how many Jedi were before the Empire eradicated them. After all, he'd only known 2 Jedi in the past. Luke knew he needed a teacher to help him learn what Yoda and Obi-Wan had not taught him. So Luke accepted Revan's offer and began the intense training with Revan. Luke and Revan had relocated to a remote planet where they could train in isolation. And for several months, Luke trained under Revan, learning the ancient knowledge of the Force. Revan explained the Old Republic's war against the Sith Empire and the victories of the Jedi against the vast armies of the Sith. Luke could not imagine the Sith numbering beyond 2. He barely handled Vader and the Emperor. Luke was rapidly becoming more powerful than he thought possible. Revan knew so much about the Force, but again, something was different. He did not explain things in terms of light and dark. He talked about the Force like it was a balance of both. Luke began to wonder if this was the key to rebuilding a stronger Jedi Order. But as Luke grew more powerful, he also grew more conflicted. He could feel the dark side inside him growing stronger, and he knew that he was becoming becoming more and more like Vader, his father. He wondered if the growing darkness was a result of training with Revan or something deeper inside him. The next day, Luke approached Revan's sleeping quarters. The two had built their own huts on the remote planet for their own meditations and sleep. Luke knew what he needed to do, so he decided to share with Revan the conflict he was feeling. He told the ancient Jedi that he could no longer follow him and that he would be leaving to rebuild the Jedi Order the way that he thought Yoda and Ben would have. All those years ago on Dagobah, Luke had let Master Yoda down by ending his training early, but this time, Luke knew what he was doing. He was making the right decision by leaving Revan.
So be it, Skywalker.
Revan took the news better than Luke had thought he would, and with that, Luke left Revan behind, hoping this decision would not come back to haunt him. Years later, Luke Skywalker watched as his nephew Ben Solo slowly fell for the lies of Snoke and the dark side. Luke did not know what to do, and in a desperate moment he contemplated striking his nephew down. The darkness he had felt before leaving Revan was back. Ben woke to see Luke standing over him. In his anger, he destroyed Luke's new Jedi temple and fled with the Knights of Ren. Luke was left alone, wallowing in this darkness and shame.
You needed my training, young Skywalker. Do you see that now?
Luke was startled as he turned to see Revan standing behind him, watching. Luke noticed a compassion in Revan's eyes that he did not notice before.
I understand your fear in letting me train you before. My journey with the Force has not been as straightforward as your previous masters.
Revan trailed off as if he was remembering his old life.
But I have wrestled with the dark side and overcome it more than any Jedi ever has. The dark side is strong in your family. It's strong in you, Luke, but you're stronger. Let me help you learn to master the Force in a complete and balanced way. Light and dark will mean nothing to you. Only in this way can you gain the power needed to defeat the evil that has enticed your nephew.
After a long moment, Luke looked into Revan's eyes and could sense that this ancient Jedi truly wanted to help Luke. Luke felt that Revan was searching for redemption of sorts, but he couldn't tell from what yet. I will accept your offer, Revan. So for the second time, Luke became an apprentice to Revan, but this time he was all in. He couldn't explain it, but he felt the Force was guiding him down this path to become the Jedi he needed to be. The Jedi who would defeat the dark side and save his nephew. Alright everyone, that's it for part 1. So let me know in the comments, what do you think needs to happen next? I'll get working on part 2 as soon as I'm able to. I hope you enjoyed this story. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you.